welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my April TBR. This TBR is a little bit chaotic. Not a little bit. It's pretty chaotic. I have finished almost all of the physical books that I own. I caught up on a lot of my advanced reader copies, and I finished a lot of series. So it really is kind of just things I've had on my backlog, like bookmarked things in my library. Like Libby has like a option where you can like tag things, and I just have a pile of backlogged books of things that I wanted to read but never happened to get around to. So I'm kind of going through that now, which I've done this before. I've done it for CLEARURSHT, and I will likely do it for CLEARURSHT again. But it's a good start. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road and talk about series I'm continuing, which is also, funnily enough, the last of the physical books that I own that I have not read. I will be buying the 5th one of these, which is the last book, and it is the only one I don't own of this series. And this is the familiar Volume 4, Hades, by Mark Z. Danielewski. Don't ask me what this book is about, what this book series is about. If you've read any of Mark Z. Danielewski's books, then you'll understand why I'm like, don't ask me what this is about. I don't, he writes very speculative fiction, and this falls into that category. Like, it's literally listed on Goodreads as horror, fantasy, sci-fi, like all the genres. We've been predominantly following Xanther, this weird cat, and some computer program that was developed by her stepdad and possibly real dad. And it's just been unraveling. The last book was really, really interesting and kind of brought everything together. Like, before it was just all of these different moving pieces and I didn't really understand the point. Now I understand how things are starting to tie in together, which is making it a little bit more exciting. I'm a little bit disappointed because when I get to book 5, I know that's the last book that was published, and this was supposed to be like a 20-book series. So there's a bummer on that, but this is one of the books I'll be reading this month. For advanced reader copies, I will be reading predominantly thrillers. Shocking. First up, we have You Can Trust Me by Wendy Hurd. I like Wendy Hurd's horror writing, but I don't think I've really read any of her thriller writing, so kind of excited about that. Summer and Leo would do anything for each other. Inspired by the way each has had to carve her place in a hostile and unforgiving world, and united by the call of the open road, they travel around sunny California in Summer's tricked-out Land Cruiser. It's not a glamorous life, but it gives them the freedom they crave from family, expectations, and the painful pasts they've left behind. But even free spirits have bills to pay. Luckily, Summer is a skilled pickpocket, a small-time thief, and a con artist. And Leo, determined to pay her own way, has learned a trick or two from Summer. That can't go wrong. How would that go wrong? Eager for a big score, Leo sets her crosshairs on Michael Forrester, a self-made billionaire and philanthropist. When her charms win him over, Leo's rewarded with an invite to his private island off the coast of Los Angeles for a night of fabulous excess. She eagerly anticipates returning with photos that can be sold to paparazzi, jewelry that can be liquidated, and endless stories to share with Summer. Instead, Leo disappears. The police assure Summer that her friend probably just ditched her. After all, who would believe a philanthropic billionaire could be up to no good? Me. I think the rich eat children. On her own for the first time in years, Summer decides to infiltrate Michael's island and find out what really happened. But as Summer searches for Leo, she discovers heavily guarded secrets, ones worth killing for. Could Summer have met her match? No, it's probably just a white man whose parents were wealthy and he was doing good work to cover the fact that he owns an island. Anyway, next we have Thief, Liar, Lady by D.L. Soria, which is a historical novel. Kind of historical mystery. I'm not who you think I am. My transformation from a poor orphan scullery maid into an enchantingly mysterious lady who snagged the heart of the prince did not happen, as the rumors insisted, in a magical metamorphosis of pumpkins and glass slippers. You guessed it, Cinderella retelling. On the first evening of the ball, I did not meekly help my evil stepmother and stepsisters primp and preen, or watch forlornly out the window as their carriage rolled off towards the palace. I had other preparations to make. My stepsisters and I had been trained for this, to be the cleverest in the room, to be quick with our hands and quicker with our lies. We were taught how to get everything we want in this world, everything men also always kept for themselves: power, wealth, and prestige. And with a touchingly tragic past and the help of some highly illegal spells, I would become a princess, secure our fortunes, and we would all live happily ever after. But there's always more to the story. With my magic running out, war looming, and a handsome hostage prince, the wrong prince. Distracting me from my true purpose with his magnetic charm and forbidden flirtations, I'm in danger of losing control of the delicate balance I've created, and that could prove fatal. Now, I don't love when plot lines rely heavily on romance to progress or cause a moral failing. It's not my favoritist of the things. Maybe it's because I did not abandon my morals when I got into a romantic relationship, but who knows, you know? I did become nicer, so maybe that's what it is. But I wouldn't say I abandoned my morals. Anyway, what do I know? What do I know? And then we have a thriller about motherhood, which, as you guys may or may not know, is something that I love reading about but hate reading about because I do want to be a mother one day and it freaks me the fuck out. The New Mother by Nora Murphy. Nothing is simple about being a new mom alone in a new house, especially when your baby is colicky. Natalie Fanning loves her son unconditionally, but being a mother was not all she wanted to be. Enter Paul, the neighbor. Paul provides the lifeline she needs in what feels like the most desperate of times. When Paul is helping with Oliver, calmed by his reassuring, steady presence, Nat feels like she can finally rest. But Paul wants something in return. It's no coincidence that he befriended Nat. She is the perfect pawn for his own plan. Will Nat wake up in time to see it? Hopefully for her fucking kid, damn. Anyway, and now moving on to the books that I definitely had backlogged in my library bookmarks, like I was talking about early in the video. This list is very all over the place, and I do love that for me. First up, we have Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. Tracker is known far and wide for his skills as a hunter. He is a nose, people say. Engaged to track down a mysterious boy who disappeared 3 years earlier, Tracker breaks his own rule of always working alone when he finds himself part of a group that comes together to search for the boy. The band is a hodgepodge full of unusual characters with secrets of their own, including a shape-shifting animal known as Leopard. That's it. That's all that they give you for that one. Then we have Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. I like Darby Kane's writing. I have read a few thrillers by her at this point, and I really enjoy them. They're very consumable. They're not always, like, the most believable, but, you know, always don't trust the men or the women. Just trust no one, actually, is kind of the moral of her books. Lila Ridgefield lives in an idyllic college town, but not everything is what it seems. Lila isn't what she seems. A student vanished months ago. Now Lila's husband, Aaron, is also missing. At first, these cases are treated as horrible coincidences until it's discovered the student is really the third of 3 unexplained differences over the last few years. I feel like it would have been better if it was like the second of 3rd of 3. Anyway. The police are desperate to find the connection, even if there is one. Little do they know they might be stumbling up over only part of the truth. With the small town in an uproar, everyone is worried about the whereabouts of their beloved high school teacher. Everyone except Lila, his wife. She's definitely confused about her missing husband, but only because she was the last person to see his body and now it's gone. So, that's suspicious, that's weird. Then we have Daughters of Sparta by Claire Haywood, which is a historical book. As princesses of Sparta, Helen and Clytemnestra have known nothing but luxury and plenty. With their high birth and unrivaled beauty, they are the envy of all of Greece. But such privilege comes at a cost. While still only girls, the sisters are separated and married to foreign kings of their father's choosing, the powerful Agamemnon and his brother Menelaus. Yet even as queens, each is expected to do 2 things, birth an heir and embody the meek, demure nature that is expected of women. But when the weight of her husband's neglect, cruelty, and ambition becomes too heavy to bear, Helen and Clytemnestra must push against the constraints of their society to carve new lives for themselves, and in doing so, make waves that will ripple through the next 3,000 years. Now, I've read Jennifer Saint's Electra, and while it was not my favorite, I do have a little bit of an insight into the Clytemnestra, Helen, etc. story, and so I feel like this will be an interesting shift in perspective because Electra focused more on Clytemnestra, and it sounds like this is probably going to focus more on Helen, so I will be interested to see how all of that unfolds. Then we have The Long Weekend by Gilly Macmillan? Thriller. Dark Fell Barn is a perfectly isolated retreat. No thank you. Or so it says on the website when Jane books a reservation for her friends. A quiet place far removed from the rest of the world is exactly what they need. The women arrive for girls' night ahead of their husband. There's ex-army Jane, hardened and mysterious, but also damaged. Ruth, the driven doctor and new mother who is battling demons of her own. Young Emily, just wed and insecure. The newest addition of this tight-knit band, missing this year, is Edie, who was the glue holding them together until her husband died suddenly. I can see how that would make you not want to go on a trip with your friends. But what they hoped would be a relaxing break soon turns to horror. Upon arrival at Darkville Barn, the women find a devastating note claiming one of their husbands will be murdered. There are no phones, no cell service to check on their men. Friendships fracture as the situation spins wildly out of control. Betrayal can come in many forms. This group has kept each other's secrets for far too long. Someone's sleeping with someone else's husband, someone got rejected by someone else's husband, and I guarantee you that's the one that murdered it. Or the husband assaulted one of the girls and she murdered him, or had a plot to murder him. Edie murdered him. I don't know. That's my theory, having literally never looked at this book other than to read you this summary. Apparently I didn't write down what this book is about, so y'all can look it up, but The Violent Season by Sarah Walters, which is a horror young adult, that's all I got for you. I apparently didn't write it down and I'm not gonna look it up for you right now, so. Healer and Witch by Nancy Werlin, which is a fantasy middle grade book. There are a lot of books on this list, y'all, I'm sorry. After Wyatt Green's mother was brutally murdered last fall, sorry, you don't expect that line when you're talking about a middle grade book. She's convinced that the November sickness plaguing Wolf Ridge isn't just a town rumor that everyone ignores. It's a palpable force infecting her neighbors. Wyatt is going to prove it and find her mother's murderer in the process. She digs up every past brutal act she can find from Wolf Ridge's past, from car wrecks, suicides, and unnamed victims turning up in rivers. You know what? I think that this is the summary for The Violent Season, and that I didn't get the summary for Healer and Witch, actually. So this is not about Healer and Witch, I'm pretty sure. Give me 2 seconds. I'm actually gonna look it up this time because I clearly fucked something up because this doesn't sound right to me. That's correct, yeah. So that's the summary for Violent Season. I didn't get the summary for Healer and Witch. Anyway, y'all can look both of those up. I'm just gonna move on and pretend that didn't happen. Thank you. Moving on. Thanks. The School for Whatnots by Margaret Peterson Haddix, which is a fantasy middle grade. No matter what anyone tells you, I'm real. That's what the note that Max finds under his keyboard says. He knows that it's his best friend, Josie wrote it. He'd know her handwriting anywhere, but why she wrote it and what it means remains a mystery. Ever since they met in kindergarten, Max and Josie have been inseparable until the summer after 5th grade when Josie disappears, leaving only a note and whispering something about whatnot rules. But why would Max ever think that Josie wasn't real, and what are whatnots? As Max set to uncover what happened to Josie and what she is or isn't, little does he know that she's fighting to find him again too. But there are forces trying to keep Max and Josie from ever seeing each other again, because Josie wasn't supposed to be real. Sounds confusing, but fun. Next we have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I looked it up and I still feel like I'm saying it incorrectly, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a Hulu special, and I've been wanting to watch the Hulu special, but I think there's triggering content in it, and so I want to read the book first because that's easier for me to process, and if I feel like I can handle that, then I'll probably watch the show. Everyone in Shaker Heights was talking about it that summer, how Isabel, the last of the Richardson children, had finally gone around the bend and burned the house down. In Shaker Heights, a placid progressive suburb of Cleveland, everything is meticulously planned, from the layout of the winding roads to the colors of the houses to the successful lives its residents will go on to lead. And no one embodies this spirit more than Elena Richardson, whose guiding principle is playing by the rules. Enter Mia Warren, an enigmatic artist and single mother who arrives in this idyllic bubble with her teenage daughter, Pearl, and rents a house from the Richardsons. Soon, Mia and Pearl become more than just tenants. All 4 Richardson children are drawn to the mother-daughter pair, but Mia carries with her a mysterious past and a disregard for the rules that threatens to upend this carefully ordered community. When old family friends attempt to adopt a Chinese-American baby, a custody battle erupts that dramatically divides the town and puts Mia and Elena on opposing sides. Suspicious of Mia and her motives, Elena is determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at an unexpected and devastating cost. And last but not least, we have a recommendation from Artemis Fowl, Art, Ink, and Plasma. This is a horror adult novel called Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. Claire Kovalik is days away from being unemployed, made obsolete, when her beacon repair crew picks up a strange distress signal. With nothing to lose and no desire to return to Earth, Claire and her team decide to investigate. What they find at the end of the signal is a shock. The Aurora, a famous luxury space liner that vanished on its maiden tour of the solar system more than 20 years ago. A salvage claim like this could set Claire and her crew up for life, but a quick trip through the Aurora reveals something isn't right. Whispers in the dark, flickers of movements, words scrawled in blood. Claire must fight to hold on to her sanity and find out what really happened on the Aurora before she and her crew meet the same ghastly fate. And that, my friends, is my very long, for once, it's been a while since I've had a long TBR. That's my TBR for April. Chaotic. Sorry for the vibe here that is a little bit chaotic. I feel like that's just been my vibe recently in general. But that's it. That's the TBR. If you've read any of these books, please let me know in the comments down below. I would really appreciate knowing. If you are thinking about reading any of these books, also let me know. If you've read them and you didn't like them, let me know that too. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And turn notifications on, because apparently YouTube has been turning them off for people, so it happens. It's fine. I get it. Running an application is difficult. If you didn't enjoy this video, let me know in the comments down below how I can make it better for you. Unless it's things like fucking up the descriptors of books, because, you know, I don't generally do that, so here we are. I think that's it. I think that's all I have for you today. I will see you guys again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then on Tuesday the next week at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I post every single week. And don't forget to drink your water, take your meds, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Make sure you're getting enough rest, and happy spring. Okay, thanks. Bye.